Hi, welcome to another Memory Keeping Monday. This is Shannon Tidwell, Garden Girl at Two Peas in a Bucket. Okay, this month, one of our themes was to use metal on our pages, and another optional theme we had was to do a page about personality. And I kind of decided to combine those two things together. For my metals, what I'm going to focus on are these straight pens, and you can see that I've used some by several different manufacturers. Some of the ones I have are older, but there's some new ones. There's some that are already adorned with little flags, and then there are some that you can embellish yourself. So I'm going to do a little bit of both on my page. And like I said too, I'm going to tie in the theme of personality into this layout. And I'll explain a little bit later how the baseball and personality go together. So when I started this layout, I really didn't have an idea of what I wanted the page to have on it. I just knew I wanted to use those straight pins. I wanted to use these photos. And I picked out this background paper and then kind of just picked out some papers that I thought would go well with it. So I decided to play off of the star theme since it's an all-star layout. And what I do is just went to my silhouette and cut several different stars out using some more neutral pattern papers. I wanted to include this photo on the page, but I really didn't have a way to use it whole because it really didn't fit with the other two 4x6 photos. So it just kind of worked out perfectly that I cut the star. I didn't plan on this to begin with, but it just kind of happened. And so I'm using this star as a frame for this picture. And what I did is I just put the picture underneath and then kind of traced it, and then I'm going to cut on the inside of those lines so that the photo will fit right inside the top part of the star. And don't worry about the bottom because I'm going to cover that up with those other photos so it won't even show. So once I get this photo framed by the star, the layout is going to begin to start to come together. You can see, like I mentioned before, that I use primarily neutral patterns to get started with. And I like to mix these neutral patterns together, but then it gives me a lot of leeway with what I can put on the page. So I'm going to add color to the page as I go, but this just kind of gives me a nice base and a good place to start. So I've got my photos kind of figured out, laid out where I think I want to put them. And now I'm just going to kind of take it with the star themed. I had cut these other stars out with my silhouette. You could also just use a template and cut them out, trace them and cut them out, whatever's easiest for you. So I'm just going to try to start getting things laid out and figure out where I'm going to go with the layout and then work on adding those embellishments onto it. So you can see here that I played around a little bit with some of the straight pins. I'm just kind of getting an idea of where I think things might go. Nothing is stuck down yet, just kind of playing, but I can already tell that I definitely need some color on the page. So I went ahead and cut some strips from the new KI paper, and I'm just going to put a skinny strip at the top and the bottom, and that immediately brightens up the neutral background I've got going. Okay, here's a little trick I like to do sometimes. Here I've got the page all laid out, and I'm getting ready to pull the pieces back up off the page so that I can add some machine stitching, and then I'll adhere it down. I like to machine stitch the individual items before I put it on the page. It's just easier to turn it in the sewing machine, and that way if I goof up, I can fix it a little bit easier. But I like to take a picture of it with the phone, and that way if once I'm putting the page back together, things just aren't going well or flowing right, or I can't seem to find that balance anymore, I can always look at that picture real quick and figure out what I got laid out wrong and get it fixed. Here's a little lesson in just letting things go. I know that this sewing is a little bit crooked on this circle, but I am not a good seamstress by any stretch of the imagination. So this is as good as it's going to get. No matter which way I turn the circle, there's going to be a little wonky line, and I'm okay with that. So if you weren't okay with that, you could take the time to fix it and cut another one with a silhouette. But for me, it's going to have a handmade look. That's kind of the look I want it to have. So it's not going to be perfect, and I'm just going to work with it. So I went ahead and stitched the stars too. And of course, they're not perfect or all straight either. And that's perfectly okay. So I'm tucking all these stars in. You can see that my stitching adds a nice layer of dimension to each item. I'm using a thicker thread. This is actually a thread that's made for denim, but I love the extra dimension it gives. So here I'm getting ready to add my title to the page, and I've got something on my computer right now that I'm going to cut with my Silhouette, and I'm just double checking the width. And here I thought that I would spread the title out across the picture and the star, but once I got it cut, I kind of liked it stacked up on the right side better. So that's what's great about scrapbooking. You can change your mind anytime you want and no one cares. So I'm going to put the All-Star over there on the right side on top of that star. And of course I've got to add some pop dots underneath it so it kind of pops up off the page a little bit. All right, now I've got the All-Star adhered down and I'm ready to add the other word for my title. I'm going to add personality, and I'm using these cute little red chipboard letters by Basic Gray. I love how bright they are. I love that it's going to add a nice splash of red to that bottom corner of my page. So I'm right now just kind of popping them out with the backing on them just so that I can get the word kind of lined out and see how it fits there underneath the All-Star. And then once I get it kind of lined out and make sure it fits good, then I'll go ahead and peel off the back of the chipboard letters and stick them down. And now comes the fun part. I'm going to start embellishing with the straight pins. So what I did is I just kind of dug through my stash of stuff and found what I thought would be fun to put on a pin, and just kind of laid it all out, and that's where I'm going to start. The first thing I'm using are these Ormolu fabric tags, and I'm going to cut out the one I want. Of course, it's right in the middle, but I want the real deal one, and just going to cut it out and then pin it up with one of my pins. And the next one, I had the idea of actually sticking the pin all the way through one of the chipboard letters. I'm using the same Basic Gray chipboard letters that I used for the title. And I'm used an M, and I'm just sticking the pin all the way through the chipboard, right through the middle. And right now I'm just laying everything out, not adhering it down, just kind of setting it out. For this large pin that I have here, I'm going to add some washi tape to it. I do this a lot on my layouts, and I really like these big long pins. So I'm going to add just several layers of bright colors, and that way it'll add a nice splash of color right there in the middle of the page above the title. For my next pin, I'm going to use a sticker. I'm digging through on the left side, there's some stickers. I'm going to use this Echo Park baseball sticker. You can see that I've got a little pin. It's got a little tiny red heart on the end of it, just kind of weaving it through the sticker, and it looks really cute with the red heart on top of the baseball. So I'm not really sure where I'm going to put it yet. I'm just kind of doing these pins and setting them around and seeing what I come up with, and then I'll figure out the placement for everything. And after I move it around and around, I finally have an idea that clicks and decide to stick it down there by the title and poking the pin right into one of the chipboard letters. Okay, so can you see that things are starting to come together? And now it's time to think about my journaling, where I want to put my journaling card. I usually tuck my journaling behind photos or behind an element on the page. It's just something I usually do. You'll notice that whenever I adhere things down, like my photos, I don't put adhesive on like all four corners. I usually just kind of put something down the middle so it's stuck to the page good, but then it still leaves me a little bit of leeway so that I can tuck stuff underneath the photos or underneath other elements on the page. And then, you know, once the layout's done, I can add some extra adhesive if I feel like things aren't sticking good, but I don't have a problem with things falling off the page. So now I've just got some other little pre-made embellishments. I've got some Echo Park stickers, star stickers, and some Bella Boulevard little flags that I'm kind of just putting around the page. And then you can see here that I've got my journaling card that I'm going to tuck behind that photo. So I'm going to go ahead and do my journaling. For those of you who are interested in the journaling, since it's hidden on the page, I'll give you just a little bit of background, and that way you can understand how the layout comes together, being about baseball as well as personality. When Maddox was selected for the All-Star team, we were a little bit surprised. Not that we think he's a bad player, but we certainly didn't expect him to be among the very best in the organization. But to come to find out that part of the team is voted on by peers, so we were pretty sure that Maddox was elected to the team by his peers, and that just goes to show what a great personality he has and that he's friends with everyone and always smiling and always friendly. So that's how the personality part of All-Star ties together. And here I've got one more star pin that I want to use, so I'm going to go ahead and just stick it right through this die cut journaling card and kind of use it as the pull so you can pull the journaling out easily. Here I'm feeling like I need something up there on top of that star, and I didn't want anything too bright or too overpowering, but I found this nice little label sticker by KI, and I'm just kind of wrapping the end of it around the pin real tight. And then I'm going to use my tiny attacher to go ahead and secure it onto this pin. So here it looks like things are kind of getting close to being done. So I decided that I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive to all of these pins I've got on the page. And what I'm going to do is just add some little pop dots right behind. And a lot of times I'll just stick it onto the flag, and so that actually the flag is adhered to the page and not the actual pin. And that way you don't have to worry about the pins falling off the page or falling out of whatever you've got them stuck in. You could also add a little bit of liquid adhesive if you wanted to make sure that the metal was actually adhered to your page, but I find that the pop dots work really great. A couple final touches, just a few more Echo Park star stickers. I put a couple up here at the top, and you can see once you see the final layout, actually after I finished the video and was taking pictures of the layout, I decided to move one of the stars down to the bottom by the title. And here is the final result. Are you ready for your challenge this week? It's to use straight pins on your layout, which is going to be super easy to do because there are so many cute ones. You can have some that are probably almost 10 years old, or you can have some brand new ones, and you can work them all together on your page. You can use the pre-made ones, you can embellish them yourselves, and add some fun splashes of color all around your page. So make sure you upload a layout and check the little box so that you have a chance to win the prize this week. As usual, my Memory Keeping Monday layout is one of my new favorites, so I hope that you enjoyed this inspiration and will make something fun with it. Have a great week. Thanks. Bye.